All right, this is going to be a look at the Ravens' first possession against the Washington Commanders in Monday night's preseason game from Week 2. Super impressive possession. Clearly, the Ravens scored, I think, in 6 plays, like Troy Aikman and I think Joe Buck pointed out. Out of those 6 plays, 5 of them resulted in first downs. Of course, we're all impressed by the 2 plays that Zay Flowers made, as we should be. I think he's matched up against Emmanuel Forbes up there. Really cool design on the touchdown pass. I do have I don't want to say a negative thing to say about it. I want to put an asterisk next to that play in terms of how long one back play action boot concepts will be effective if we're not running to the single receiver side. And there's people that watch my content often who perhaps you're annoyed by me constantly bringing that up. So I'll try to make my point a little bit more clearer when that play comes up. But nonetheless, a super impressive drive by Zay Flowers, Justice Hill, Josh Johnson, who seemed way sharper against the Commanders than he did in Week 1 against the Eagles. Not sure why that is or why that was, but nonetheless, a super impressive drive. Fun to watch. The whole game was fun to watch, even though the Ravens lost. Let me know if you had fun watching it. Hopefully you did. I really did, even though I was charting the game the whole time. And on that note, I did share the game notes with people. I want to continue to reference this so that people have access to it if they wish to look at it. You're more than welcome to. I did get feedback from two people on YouTube comments from last night's reaction video that I don't actually do it, so I want to show it here. That's the first possession. That's the notes that I keep in a Word document and make available after the game in my reaction video, so I don't know how someone could say I actually don't do that work if I made it available by 12:30 a.m. Monday night, Tuesday morning. But in any case, you see the first 6 plays. I did miss the personnel for the bunch right under center, the play action boot to Flowers for the touchdown. So that's available to people if they're interested in keeping track of that all year, or at least having those documents available. I keep it in my Patreon as well on the database. When I'm able to get the Ravens film cut up, I'm able to categorize it so people can search for all instances of 20 personnel bunch left A, which is the first play of the game, and see the run-pass ratio and all those things. So let's get to the film. I just wanted to show that before going to the video for tonight, so anybody that had a question about whether I do that work or not could have that question answered for themselves. So here we go. So the first play of the game, bunch left A, and we would call it F counter. Justice Hill is running hard. I don't know about you, but I'm super impressed by him and super happy for him. So when we say F counter, we're talking about pulling guard, kicking out, and then the H-back, fullback wrapping up. Now, Ricard doesn't actually, make contact back there. It's somewhere around the line of scrimmage, and Justice Hill is able to cut off of it. But there's a couple of things to say about this. Last year, bunch A, meaning the back on the side of the bunch, was 100% pass. I mean, if it wasn't 100% pass, it was 95% pass. So what I mean is bunch, 3 receivers, in this case 2 receivers and a fullback on the same side as the running back in Greg Roman's offense, and even prior to week 1 of the preseason this year, was 100% pass for the Ravens. We got a new offensive coordinator, and maybe he's trying to play against some of those statistics. But in any case, bunch left A, first possession of the game, first play of the game, is a run concept, F counter, to the single receiver side. So what I mean is to the single receiver side. Now, you are wrapping the fullback to go lead, so you're bringing 2 people, the guard and the fullback, to that side of the play. But it's still an example of running to the single receiver side, which the Ravens need to do. Any team needs to do if you want to keep people honest. All right, second play. I think that was a 10-yard gain. Second play is going to be incomplete to Kolar down at the bottom. I had Trey Wing B for this, and B is when the running back switches to the other side. I had said in the reaction video I thought this throw was low. It was clearly not. So it's A right now because you got the tight end and the fullback to the left and the back on the same side. So when I'm charting the game, I'm typing, and I'm typing on one screen. I'm looking at the game screen. Now it's changed to B. In this case, you'll see Justice Hill go out to the boundary. This inside linebacker chase, but Josh Johnson is looking down to the bottom side. Just a little like clear out concept with Ricard, trying to get Ricard take the first guy to the flats defender and then throw it on the outside to Kolar. Should have been caught. Obviously, it's a drop. I was wrong in the reaction video by stating that it was low. Quick read. It'll be great to see Lamar or any quarterback in this, get some of these quick completions, get the ball out, not let the pass rush, develop and make things available. You can do that when your offensive coordinator's got teams prepared for what look the defense will be in. Okay, so it brings up a 2nd and 10. Huge play here, where we really see What we got, and we already knew from hearing stuff in practice, that's Emmanuel Forbes, and the Ravens have put twins down to the left. And so what that elicits is it gets the nickel defender to the twins, and you see the two high safety look. The Commanders are rolling one safety down to the side of the tight end and a running back on that side. And then when Kolar motions away, you can see he rolls back. What have they done? They being the Ravens. They've created space through the use of motion and manipulating the defense, and that space is all this area in here. Well, it's a check X stop, meaning they're just having Flowers run a stop route, and he can stop very abruptly, jukes Forbes, jukes the second guy, and if there weren't the third defender there, maybe he's still running. I don't actually think that, but you never know what the heck to think with Zay Flowers. The suddenness, really there's nothing for me to say about it that hasn't already been said. The suddenness to make the catch, super abrupt, great feet, well-trained, obviously, but he looks like a guy who, even if he weren't trained, would still have a really high level of suddenness. But since he is trained, he can do stuff like this to an elite first-round corner, a guy who's got a great reputation coming into the league, as well he should. So that 2nd and 10 completion for 11 yards gets us to a 1st and 10. This is 11 personnel now, and so we got bunch right B. Bunch to the right side, Hill to the opposite side, bunch right B. And I contend, and this is just through 2 games of observing Monken's offense, he likes concepts like this. Now you've got Kolar running the out and up wheel, whatever you want to call it, that Vokalek hit the Eagles on in week 1. So what he's doing is, if we don't throw the ball to him, which I don't think we're necessarily even really trying to here, if we don't throw the ball to him, he's cleared out all this space in this area. And it's a late release by the running back to the boundary. I can't wait to get the percentages when I can actually get my hands on the cut-up film, because I can't get my hands on that right now. But to see how many times on pass plays we're late releasing the running back out into the boundary. Once the routes have already developed, once people have already, quote, matched up, and in this case you've got a guy, inside linebacker, getting depth, then we're sliding Justice Hill out late. I don't want to say this is easy money, but this is the type of thing where the quarterback looks for an initial route, whether it's open or not, and then knows, I'm going to come back down here quick because people are going to clear out. The concept that I see is, like I said, out and up to the boundary, to the top side of the screen, by the tight end. This, to me, would be the clear out. Now you can check the vertical immediately if you want to, but this all seems to be built into the right side of the field. Additionally, you have Duve, operating from left to right. Now, granted, you do have Tylan Wallace, the guy who went in motion, wide open down here, but Josh Johnson's read isn't there. That's not what his read is. That motion is designed to just kind of be some eye candy away from the actual point of attack or where the Ravens want to get the football. Well, let's roll one more time. Tylan Wallace go in motion, wide open, type of thing that you would hope this year we're going to see, number one, and number two, come back to later on if we're getting a similar look from the defense every time we go bunch right B. That's one of the things that I find so interesting when I'm watching film of the Lions offense with Ben Johnson last year, is that he would come back to formations 6 or 8 minutes later of game time, and the defense, it'd be kind of like, giving you one type of problem and you think you've solved it defensively, and then coming back to it later on to take advantage of stuff like this if you're in a similar coverage and similar look, if that guy gets wide open again. Hopefully I said that in a way that makes sense, but running back from the field into the boundary, essentially having that space cleared out for him by Zay Flowers' route, first of all, and then second of all, Charlie Colwell running the out and up, the wheel, whatever you want to call it. All right, brings up a 1st and 10 from the 41. And I think we're in 20 personnel, which Monken seems to like. You've got a fullback and a tailback on the field. I had this mislabeled in my game notes. I had it bunch left pistol, but it clearly was not. It's under center ace in the system that I know. And you're going to get motion again by Tylan Wallace. And the Ravens are just doing what so many other college, high school, NFL teams do. They have the receiver to the front side go block the safety here, and leave this corner unblocked, make this corner tackle, whoever that is. Maybe a game plan thing. I know the Commanders, didn't have a lot of their starters in on defense, but, we clearly didn't with our second-team offense on the field. You can see Due's relationship to the corner and the safety. He's clearly going after the safety. You'll see him block him in a moment. We got the nickel defender coming up field, left tackle taking him. Guard not doing a bad job, even though he's getting kind of taken backwards a little bit. You'd like to see him with a little bit more aggression and push on the D tackle. But in any case, it ends up being, I think, a 15-yard run by Justice Hill, who's just playing fantastic. That'll be the second video that I put out tonight and or tomorrow, is just taking a look at everything Justice Hill has done. So you've got 5 plays so far, 4 of them for 10-plus yards. And then now the 1st and 10 from the 26, 6th play of the drive, I believe. And we're under center, bunch, 1 back. Now, we did run the ball to the 1 receiver side. Remember the first play I showed you, right? With a bunch left A, F counter to the top side of the field. That was the first play I showed you. Now we've got 1 receiver down here, and we're under center. Last year in Greg Roman's offense, 1 back, under center. We were play action boot to the quarterback's right. His strong hand, I would say, is at least 75, 85% of the time. It was a ton. It was a ton. In the offseason, I probably found 4 or 5 more instances where it wasn't, but I'll tell you what I never did find was run to the single receiver side. So you're trying to, get out on people to the single receiver side. Keep them honest. Why am I bringing this up? Because there's people who say, well, we can't really run boot with Lamar because DNs are going to run right after him. Well, let me rephrase that. DNs have run directly after him. Why? Maybe it's possible they knew that it was 1 back under center and that we weren't going to run the ball to this side. So this player, if I get run action away from me, if I'm left unblocked, I know it's not run action. And I know it's not actually a run play away from me. NFL players are that prepared and 10 times more so. So you can see this DN, I think it's Jones, but I might be wrong. No, Jones is on the other side. He really, he hedges down for a moment and then goes right up to quarterback to get in his face. Clear out route by Wallace, takes the corner out of there. Zay Flowers runs the out, little speed out, wide open, and then just does Zay Flowers things. Cool moment, for me at least, personally, like watching Zay Flowers score a touchdown. Not trying to be a downer in terms of saying we need to keep people honest, but if we want that concept to be something we can use often and succeed with, play action boot to the quarterback's right, to the wide side of the field, because the ball's on the left hash. And Tom Munkin knows this. Like, this is me telling you what our offense has got to do in terms of running the ball away from the 3 receiver side, be different from what Greg Roman was over time without anybody leading there. On the F counter play, of course, we were in the shotgun. The quarterback's feet were here, and Justice Hill's feet were here. I'm drawing you a mirror image of it in case you don't know. The guard pulled, kicked out, and the fullback, Ricard, again, I'm drawing a mirror image, wrapped. So we did bring 2 people to the equation, a guard for the kick out and a backside fullback or H-back for the wrap. We've got to be able to run this concept, an actual run play, to the bottom side, to the single receiver side, keep people honest so you actually can open this up more often. Because it looked easy, right? Well, why did it look easy? It's week 2 of the preseason, and the guys playing defense for the Commanders probably didn't have the preparation level of Tennessee Titans in the playoff game in 2019, Buffalo Bills in the playoff game in 2020, Cincinnati Bengals when they came to Baltimore in week 7, 2021. They probably didn't have the preparation level of some of those super high-level defenses with great staffs and 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks of data to tell them, hey, man, if it's under center 1 back, they're not going to run away from the side where there's more receivers. You're always going to get the nickel defender to the side of the bunch, especially when the bunch is to the field. So the bunch is here. You're always going to get the nickel defender there. I'm not saying that you're not going to. You can occupy him, which is, it's basically what the Ravens do with a vertical there, and then I think a little speed out by Zay, like I said. But you must build in directional balance and not just run-pass balance. And Todd Monken, to me, looks like a guy who will do that. I don't have the plays from week 1 in my database. I've been, to be frank, unable to download the plays in the manner that I normally do. So I don't have all of the data compiled from in the database and the program that I use, but I have it through the game notes, and that's why I'm sharing them with people, because when I do come out with the data in a day or two, because it's probably going to take me at least an hour and a half to go over it and do it by hand, because the database would normally do it for me, I'll be able to tell you, so far, I've seen us under center, one back 7 times, and we have only run to the single receiver side once. At least we've done it. You know, I know that we've done it once in this game, and I think once in the Eagles game. Greg Roman last year, I don't think did it hardly at all. Forgive me for harping on the point and ruining what was obviously a great moment. You know, to see a rookie score a touchdown, Josh Johnson throw a touchdown, Ravens just roll down the field against the Commanders' defense in 6 plays. Super impressive. You could even hear the sound of Aikman's voice, I thought, kind of perk up while he was talking about the offense on this possession. I don't remember exactly what he said, but I felt like it was possible to hear the fact that he was impressed in some of the things he was saying. I know I was impressed. You know, perhaps you weren't, and that's no problem. Let me know in the comment section if you were as impressed as I was with everything the Ravens did on offense. Well, a lot of what we did on offense the entire night, but this first possession was overwhelming. It was almost like a boxing match where one fighter comes out and knocks the other guy down twice in the first round and gets a 10-7. That's what this looked like, but, you know, unfortunately, it still only counts for 7 points. Zay Flowers looks like that guy who can throw an early knockout punch or a late one because of his ability to make people miss, extend plays, and get more yards than maybe is there on paper. Appreciate you guys' time. If you enjoyed the video, please let me know. A couple of people asked for possession videos, so here's the first one. I will do another look at the possession late in the second quarter, even though it was a short one. I think it was only 4 plays. If you think other Ravens fans or other NFL fans in general would enjoy the content, please consider grabbing a link to this video, sharing it on social media somewhere to help this video get more reach.